Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Etched in 30K Media. Thank you for tuning by on the end of the year. It's been a while since I've actually done a car review, and a lot of things have happened. I've bought and sold a couple of my cars. You guys didn't notice in my previous video, I mentioned that I picked up a Prius C as a daily driver, and here it is. It's a 2016 model. It is a 99 horsepower, 1.8 liter engine with about 60 or 86 feet-pounds of torque. This is the hybrid car, the hybrid version. So I know you guys already know many Priuses are hybrid capability. And I really like the Prius. It's actually my first Toyota that I've owned, and it's super reliable. I did a lot of research. I actually bought this car in used, and a lot of people were saying things on the forums like, you should be careful about the hybrid battery, you should check the mileage, the battery could go out on you. But it's actually been time tested, and there's been data, and there's been research that's been proven on the forums that you guys can Google and find. I'll try to post some links below, but these hybrid batteries have been proven to be lasting up to about 20 years, or at minimum probably around 200,000 miles. And there's been tons of Priuses out there that have exceeded 200, 300, even 400,000 miles on the original hybrid battery. So I guess if you do proper maintenance on them, they should be okay, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But first and foremost, I want to talk about my Prius and give you guys some in-depth review and in-depth insight on the car. And if you guys are thinking about buying a Prius, especially in this day and age where 2020 is such a crazy year, people are kind of losing jobs, they're trying to cut down and save on costs. Gas is a big thing because if you're driving a lot, and this will definitely save you a couple bucks in that department. Right off the bat, this is black sand pearl. This is black, but it's not like a dark black. It's kind of more of like a grayish type of black. The 2016 model does come with LED projectors, and it does come with fog lights, so more upgrade in that department compared to the older Prius Cs that I've driven. My parents do have a Prius C. It's not in this video now, but they do have a 2012 model, which is a little bit lower, and we'll talk about certain trims later on. It does come with a full leather interior, as you guys can tell, but in this Prius, Toyota used a different type of material. It's more eco-friendly, so the leather is a little bit softer. It does feel slightly cheaper, but from far away, if you look at it, it looks okay. It's not too bad. And also, this car does come with alloy wheels. It's let me take a look at it. It's 4-lug. I think it comes in about 15-inch. And later on, we'll talk about the tire setup. I think it's about 175 tire setup. It's a little bit narrow, but I guess Toyota achieved that by getting higher gas mileage. So you got to run like a little bit of like a smaller tire. When I first bought the car, I did a lot of reading on this car. It's kind of funny because you don't need to do a lot of maintenance on this car at all. The brakes are supposed to last the lifetime of the car. You don't need to change any timing chain or timing belt or timing guide, anything like that, because most of the stuff is electronic. The only things I've done to the car so far are I changed the oil, changed the filter, and the oil you can change up to 10,000 miles as Toyota has recommended, which I don't know if I want to go that far, but I probably might go in between around 7,000 to 8,000, which is good enough. And believe it or not, the transmission fluid in this car is supposed to last the lifetime of the car. But I mean, being a car person like myself, I went in and changed the transmission fluid within the first couple of weeks that I've had it. And I didn't want to go with any other fluid. Normally I'd go with Amsoil, but in this case I went with the transmission fluid from Toyota, so I guess it was designed for the car itself. I didn't want to take any risks, so I changed that out. It's fairly easy. You got to jack up the car, and in the 2016 or 2015 models or higher, there's some plastic panels you got to take off, and that's the only things that I've done. And I've changed the cabin filter and the engine filter. And the car, I bought it used with about 62,000 miles now, and it has about 65,000 miles. So I've driven it somewhat, but had some seat time in the car. So I think it's a really great car. It's a great car that you can have as a secondary vehicle to get around in from A to B. It's much more reliable than my 2018 Honda Civic, which I sold due to AC issues, as you guys have seen in my videos before. This car doesn't have any issues so far. I've had it for about a few months. It's been really, really well maintained from the last owner. I bought it as a second owner. It was a one-owner car. And we'll talk a little bit more about the interior a little bit later. But yeah, let's just, you guys can take a look at the car right here, and maybe we'll take it for a little test drive. Post your comments down below if you have any questions. I love this car. I've driven it 6-7 hours nonstop before. It's super quiet. The only downsides that I would probably mention are the infotainment system kind of sucks a little bit, and it does have a navigation, but to be honest, I mean, nobody uses the in-cabin nav these days. It's either Google Maps or Waze, right? Or if you have Apple CarPlay. I really wish this car had Apple CarPlay, but it doesn't. But I mean, it's just a little stuff, you know. Like I can get around that. It's not a big deal. The main thing is just to have the car being reliable. The engine and transmission are the most critical parts of the car, so it's been pretty bulletproof. And I can see the reason why people buy so many Priuses out there. If you have Priuses and you're watching this video, if you actually pay attention to Priuses out on the street or the freeway, like every literally 1 or 2 minutes, I look around, I see a Prius, whether it be like first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation Prius, whatever it is, I see them everywhere. The Prius C, the C stands for city. So this car is more kind of geared towards like younger crowd, and I think the way it looks more of like a hatchback. I think it looks better than all the Priuses out there, even the newer ones that have just been released in 2020. I think it looks the most sporty, and I got these WeatherTech, I guess wind moldings for this model, and I think it adds a little bit more like a sport look to the car. But overall, I mean, I love the car. It's a perfect daily driver. Gas mileage, we've got to talk about that. It's rated at 53 in the city and about 47, 48 in the city. And I've actually gotten this car to hit at least 60 miles a gallon before, and that's on mixed driving. So it does, the mileage does go down when the weather is really cold, especially now in December here in Sacramento, California. It's about like 40 degrees. So mileage does go down a little bit, but during the kind of like end of the summer when I bought this car, I hit about 60 miles a gallon, which is really, really crazy. But anyway, let's take a look at the interior, and after that, we'll go for a test drive and give you guys some feedback as I'm driving the car, and you can guys hear how quiet it is. So this is a 2016 Toyota Prius C. This is the 4, trim level 4, which is the highest of all the Priuses. They have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 comes with navigation, heated seats, leather seats, multi-spoke wheels, 4 lug, slightly larger wheels compared to the other models, and LED lights with projector housing. So anyway, let's take a look at the interior, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. Okay, so now we are inside of the Toyota Prius C. As you can tell, the black and black is super sexy. I love the leather seats, as I mentioned earlier. Toyota used some kind of like eco-friendly leather, so it's a little bit soft to the touch. I can't really tell you guys how it feels on the phone because it's I mean on the camera because it's hard to describe, but it's just really soft. Mine came with these all-weather floor mats, which is really cool because being this car as a daily driver, you're gonna go in and out of the car lot, so that helps with all the mud and stuff on your shoes. It's easier to clean. As you can see here, this is the infotainment system. I think it's a 6-screen full touch screen. Power it on real quick. Start the car. So you can tell we start the car, it sounds really quiet. Like the hybrid engine starts first, and the actual engine doesn't start until later on. It kicks in once in a while. So this is the touch screen. It's about the 6-inch. It's really cool. I think it gives the car more like modern look, modern feel. So it's really basic, super basic. You just have your volume knob here. This is your tuning scroll. Home brings you back to the navigation, and you can do a split screen navigation and your Bluetooth connection, songs, whatever you're playing. This is really basic. It has a CD player, but nobody uses CD players anymore. I hooked up a phone holder right here so I can put the phone, and I bought a coiled iPhone cable because you can charge your phone right here through a port, and also this is an auxiliary. So I think it's a really good feature that they put a little charger right here so I can kind of hook up my phone like that, so it looks more neat in the car. Quick note is that this auxiliary port, if you really want to hook up a noise cancelling microphone to your phone and talk, it works really well, so maybe I could talk about that in another video if you guys like. Let's take a look at the steering wheel. It's super basic, it's all leather wrapped. You have some controls here. This is the voice activated navigation and control. You can use your phone, hang up or receive calls. Volume controls here. Display, temperature, trip. Something cool about this Prius is that you see the gauge right here, that little small screen. So if I hover over the volume button on the control, like right here, if I like hover over it, watch what it does. So Toyota made this a really cool feature because it lets people kind of see what they're selecting, because instead of like keeping your eyes up and down, it keeps your eyes on the road. So if you watch, if I hover over volume up, see how it says that it just flashes white to let me know that I'm on volume up. It's really cool. Like I mentioned earlier, car is really basic. This mirror is super basic. It's not a power mirror or anything. It's works as planned. So over here to the left, you have your windows control. Here's the lock car. You can control all your driver and passenger windows over here. Heated seats is something cool in the Prius 4 model. I don't think they're available in the 3 or 2 or 1, but in the 4 trim, which is highest, it is, so you can kind of control it right here. I don't use EV mode that much because this runs off a battery, and most of the time I'm going to be driving, like pretty fast, so I don't want to use EV mode because all electric. Eco mode, it does save you a couple of gallons here and there, but the car is really weak. I don't use that either. Let's look at the glove compartment right here. We have some stuff, some area for storage. Not too much, just like good for a little, bag with some stuff in it, like your registration and your like flashlight to your fuses. Look to the back seat right here. Not too big. Carries about 5 people at max, but I think I haven't taken anybody else in this car except for me and like my brother or like my friend. So it's really not really worn at all. Seats are in really good condition, and that middle seat belt kind of sticks out right there. You guys can tell it's just for the middle passenger, which is pretty cool. One of the really all-time special features that I love about the Prius C is that it has a moonroof, and this is only available I think in the 4 model, and you don't see many Priuses with moonroofs. If you guys don't believe me, go out and take a look at a lot of Priuses. You'll never see them with moonroofs except for the newer models, and I just think this is so cool because gives the car that more pristine look. And right up here we have the moonroof control options, such as like tilt down, tilt up. We'll tilt it up, it kind of goes up like that, and if you tilt it down, close it, or you can slide it out. You can see the sky or slide it back in. I love that because it gives car a more sleek look. I had to buy these sunglasses holder thing from Amazon because like I don't know why they didn't include something up here. But anyway, it's not a big deal. This is pretty cool. You just put the glasses in and out. Other than that, I wired up a dash cam right here. It goes into the fuse box all the way back down there. So, pretty basic car. You have your controls right here. This is with the little screen. You can see all your specs. I like it on the Eco score because it tells me how I'm doing, and I can kind of see my rev meter. Like if I rev it, no, you can't see it now because the car is not in motion, but otherwise this is a really great car. I love it, and it's very basic. I should have gotten a Prius from the beginning. So let's go and take a test drive and give you guys a little in-depth review on how the car drives. Alright guys, so we're back in the 2016 Toyota Prius C. This is my personal Prius, but I'm trying to give you guys an unfair and unbiased review, as I always do in my reviews. I just really love this Prius, and I've had it for about 6 months. People that have had Priuses, I don't hear much complaints, except they're afraid that the hybrid battery is going to die. And I talked about the hybrid battery lifetime. I guess throughout the car, you own it for a long period of time. If you maintain it properly, then I guess it's going to serve you well. And I don't think many people look, I guess, as far as I know, I guess some of my Prius friends that own Priuses, they don't really care to like do a lot of research on the car, so they just want to drive it and hopefully it lasts. But talking about the hybrid battery, on the hybrid battery there's a hybrid fan, right? And the hybrid fan is actually located on the the left rear, right below the left rear passenger seat, and you have to clean that filter once in a while. So it's that hybrid filter fan. You just got to take off that seat cover and just pull off that trim, and you can kind of take a look inside and see there's some dust or something that's like left around that little filter area. So just take a vacuum and just kind of suck it out. I'll probably do a video of that later on, but I did that to my car, and I noticed even though the car is only about 4 years old, there's some dust built up and some debris, so I vacuumed that out, and that's supposed to help the car I guess run more efficiently so it doesn't overheat, and the hybrid battery needs to be cooled in order for it to operate at a good temperature, right? So that's something that you guys probably gonna keep in mind when you drive a Prius and when you kind of want to keep up maintenance on the car. Other than that, like, the car has been in really good condition. I love how quiet it is. As you guys can tell, like, I mean, even though I'm using a microphone to record this, like, you don't even hear the engine like as it's driving. And when I'm in traffic, from like bumper to bumper, it just operates solely on the hybrid motor, hybrid engine. So that's just really, really efficient, and I just really like how quiet this Prius is. And I mean, I keep bringing it up over and over, but gas mileage is really, really insane on this car. Like filled up gas, and I've driven for about 3 weeks, and I still have like half a tank left, for like about 4 or 5 bars. So that's really, really good. I've been putting in Chevron 87, and I noticed that my car gets slightly better gas mileage with Mobile 1. I don't know why. So if you guys actually out there that own Priuses, let me know if you guys get better gas mileage with certain gas brands. But I just find that kind of funny, even though I get Chevron with all my cars because it's supposed to be really good gas. But I'll report back and let you guys know. But other than that, like the tires are really, really good. Running tire pressures, they recommend you run 38 in the front and about 33 in the rear. But I'm actually running 40 PSI in the front and about 35 in the rear. And I think that gives me slightly higher gas mileage. And I think you guys might be able to pull it off. It's only like slight 2 PSI higher, and the Prius is already running really narrow tires, coming in at 175. So probably the most narrow tire of all the cars that I've ever owned. But I'm just so glad that I have something more reliable to drive now, and I get you take care of the car. Speaking about reliability, maintenance-wise, Priuses are one of the most lowest costs to maintain this car of all the cars that I've owned. It's one of the most low maintenance, meaning that you only need to pay attention to your tires, change your oil every 10,000 miles as recommended from the factory, and also your transmission fluid is supposed to last for a lifetime. And the majority of people out there that own Priuses are just kind of more like people that just don't really care too much about cars, want to drive from A to B. So, I mean, it serves that purpose really well, I think. But for people like us who are like, into cars and whatnot, we kind of want to, put a little more attention into details and take care of little stuff here and there. I haven't done any modifications to this car, and I don't think I need to do anything. It's just a daily driver, daily commuter. But I love the car. I've had it for about 6-7 months. I didn't have any issues with it. It's really reliable, and I guess one thing to note is that if you want to hook your car up to a trickle charger, if you want to drive it, like not drive it often, you can't really do that unless you take off the rear panel, because the battery is actually located in the right rear passenger seat. So to save space, because the car is so compact, especially in the engine bay, that they have to put some components in the rear. So the battery is kind of like located back there. So if you want to like change it out, or if you want to like hook it up to a trickle charger, you gotta take off the panel in the back, and it's a little bit of pain in the butt, but it's nothing too crazy, not too difficult or not too complicated at all. So I think you should be okay there. Speaking of Priuses, there's actually one Prius right behind me right now. They're everywhere. You don't really start noticing that until you actually start driving more, and then you start noticing little things. But it just shows that Toyota has built such an awesome car, and it's such a great car, especially if you're doing Uber or you're doing Lyft, stuff like that. Like, it's really, really amazing because you can get a lot of good mileage out of the car with low maintenance. So you kind of take home more money, whether if you drive another car and then you gotta put in more money for maintenance, and you're not taking home as much money, especially if you're in the Uber or Lyft business. But not getting too sidetracked. I like the car. It does have cruise control, which I use once in a while. I guess I don't really have much complaints. Just the infotainment system is kind of like a little bit subpar, but to be honest, like I hook up my phone to a noise canceling mic through the auxiliary port, and I have some adapters. So if you guys want, you're in the car a lot and you need to do conference calls or meetings or whatever, I think a noise canceling mic is the way to go, because the Bluetooth mic on this car isn't that good. I've had meetings in this car with Bluetooth, and I've gotten feedback saying that it's really staticky. There's some background noise, so something to keep in mind for sure. Other than that, I think the car is really solid. The steering wheel is like electric steering, so it's really, really light. You don't have to put in a lot of effort to turn the wheel at all, so I think that's a really good thing. I wired up a dash cam right up here to the fuse box, so you gotta get a certain type of fuse for the Prius. I don't remember what is it top of my head, but it's not the ones that I'm using the Hondas and my Nissan. It's a slightly different type, so make sure you get that right. Other than that, I really like the AC vents on this car. You can turn it like full 360. Like some cars, they go left to right or up and down, but in the Priuses, you have full control. You can turn it like full 360, so that means that you can blow air any way you want. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, car's been really good to me. It's a really great daily driver. If you guys just want something that doesn't break the bank, and you guys want something that's reliable, get a Prius for sure. And Toyota makes really good cars. This Prius was actually made in Japan and shipped over here, so I trust Japanese craftsmanship and quality control more than, like, say, Japanese cars that were made and manufactured in overseas. Especially with my Civic before. I had a 2018 Civic that I was using to daily drive, and that had a lot of issues, especially with the AC and with certain quality control. So, now with that being said, hopefully this review helps you guys out there and gives you guys some insight on, you know, just whether you want to buy a Prius or not. I mean, I like the Prius C because it looks the best out of all the Priuses, and since I'm by myself a lot, I don't really need the bigger model Prius, even though it gets slightly better gas mileage. I like the look of this Prius, and the insurance is really cheap. I think I pay under $100 for two-way, for collision and comprehensive. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments, and please post down below. And let me know what cars you guys drive. If you guys drive a Prius, I love to hear about your experiences with that car. But like I said, you know, this is a 2016 Prius C, Prius 4, level trim 4. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and hopefully I hear from you guys soon. If not, then have a happy new year, and I see you guys in the next year, 2021. Thanks guys for watching, and talk to you guys soon. Peace.